Today we're going to demonstrate two different patinas on two different metals, a non-ferrous metal being copper and a ferrous metal being steel. The first thing that's really important on either metal is to clean the metal surface. Generally what I do is I will take industrial metals cleaner, scrap that, and put it on. You want to let this sit for a few minutes so that the acid has a chance to bite into the metal. About 2 to 3 minutes is really good. And then wipe it down. You'll notice there'll be a lot of dirt coming out. This is grease from the metal. The metal has a protective coating over it. Steel does, cold rolled steel. Copper has a little protective coating on it too. Notice there's dirt on that too. Grease. Then after that you want to make sure you get tooth to the metal. You want something for the patina, particularly cold patinas, to bite to. Something for them to grab onto the metal surface. Therefore, you can use a sandblaster would be one. Two would be possibly on a flat surface, an orbital sander. This is 40 grit sandpaper. You could do hand sanding. You could use a slight palm sander. Different things to get the metal surface. They also make sanding sponges, and if you have a contoured surface, the sponges will go in and out of that nice textured surface, so that's a possibility too. Then you would sand.
So we just washed it in water,
Yeah,
correct?
just washed it in water.
Perfect.
So the first one we'll do is we'll do the piece of steel.
And this is a piece of cold roll?
This is cold rolled steel, and we're going to use Japanese brown. This is our basic rusting agent to rust steel and iron. The nice thing about Japanese brown is it's a very tightly bonded rust. There's different types of rust. This happens to be a very tight bonded rust, so
okay.
That's what makes it a nice formula.
Before you spray on, just one thing. This is one of the things that our customers always do.
Right.
And I'd like to just address this right quick. Is they would come in and, for example, they look at that Japanese brown and say, well, that's not brown. That liquid isn't brown, so my output isn't going to be brown.
Yeah.
You know, my end result. So, and again, it's because of the chemicals that's
right.
in that liquid that
right.
as it reacts against the metal turns it that color.
Right, exactly.
But you said it's a form of rust.
Right, it's a form of rust.
And there's different kinds of rust,
Different
correct?
kinds of rust. There's a sphere rust and there's a flake rust.
Uh-huh.
What you're always looking for, if you can get it, is a sphere rust.
Okay.
Iron generally has a sphere rust anyway. Steel doesn't. Steel basically is a flake.
Right.
So what you're always trying to do is get the tightest bonded rust you can get.
Right.
So, and this happens to be probably as the best there is for that, other than maybe one other would be ferric nitrate, but it's very slow acting. It takes days for a ferric nitrate to work very well. So, okay, so we'll spray it on. You'll notice it'll rust fairly quickly. If you have spots like this right here, that's not taking, that means it's not clean. That means that surface right there for some reason didn't get real clean. So if you take a Scotch-Brite, either a red Scotch-Brite or a green Scotch-Brite, and go like that, you'll start to work the patina into the metal, and you'll get rid of that little spot.
It's right there. It is. It disappeared.
And you can also, just in general, if you want, you can work the patina into metal just by taking a Scotch-Brite and going like this. That'll will help work the patina in. Okay. So this patina, generally, depending on the temperature, humidity, will activate fairly quickly. If it's really humid, then you'll get a brown, sort of an orange-brown patina very quickly within an hour or two. If it's dry, very dry, like it was in there, although we got a nice patina fairly quick, but that was a liquid, it takes maybe overnight. Generally, what I tell everybody is once you put it on and you start to get your brown, you're better off to do the patina in the later part of the day and let it sit overnight. If you can even put it outdoors, you'll get a really nice patina from the dew, the moisture in the air at night. So that's what I always tell everybody. This is immediately, and obviously this is over a period of time. And this is a cold rust. This is a cold patina here, but this patina can be done hot. If you do this patina hot, it's a burgundy brown to burgundy black if it's done hot. This particular one here was done cold, so you get more of the oranges, the tans, with just a little bit of the blacks.
What do you mean by hot?
Hot means that you heat the metal surface up to 220 degrees and then you put your patina on.
Using like a torch or something?
Using a torch.
Perfect.
Can you use something besides a torch?
You can use a hair dryer, maybe, but you can use a paint peeler or a heat gun.
How about an oven?
You could use an oven. An oven will work. The only problem with an oven is you'd have to go in and out of the oven, and the fumes off a lot of patinas, if you have an electric oven, you're going to start to eat the coils.
Okay.
Not so bad on gas, but on electric, you'll start to eat your coils. So, but anyway, yes, you can do it in an oven. You can do it with a heat gun, depending on the thickness of the metal. If the metal is fairly thin, then a heat gun works fine. If anything's very thick, then it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
If it was a piece of sculpture, you can't do it with anything but a torch or an oven. If it's a flat sheet, thin piece of metal, yes, you could do that, sure. Is this pretty good so far?
Yeah.
Okay. You ask questions like she did, because I forget things. Okay. The next one we're going to do would be a Tiffany green. This is Tiffany's formula. This will be on a sheet of copper. This will also work on brass or bronze. On the steel one, it also works on iron. So this one works on pretty much all non-ferrous metals. This was made for Tiffany lamps. Slight modification on it, but not really a lot.
And this is a real popular one, correct?
This is our probably most popular patina.
A lot of our customers come in looking for Tiffany green, yeah.
Right. I like the light green myself. It's a little different look. It's more of a apple green, which Debbie doesn't like a lot, but I like the apple green a lot. This is more of a blue-green, light green with a little bit of blues to it.
Yeah.
Slower acting. The light green is our quickest acting one. It'll turn this green in about 15 minutes. This takes anywhere from 2 hours to overnight.
Okay.
And another thing that people do, this is the biggest problem they have on copper, is they put too much patina on. And what happens is you put your first layer of patina on and you start to form an oxide, and then you say, well, it's not doing much, and you think if you put more on it's going to work faster, which is not true. And what it does is it, number one, goes underneath the oxide and starts to lift it off, and two, it seals the first layer off from oxygen, and therefore you don't get as good a bite.
Right.
And it starts flaking.
And it'll just flake off, yeah.
And it flakes off. And the other reason for flaking, that could be on steel too, but it's usually not as prevalent as it is on copper, is that the metal wasn't cleaned properly, and you need a lot of tooth for a cold patina.
So that's why you use a sandblaster, or you
exactly.
grind
The
it
more
down.
tooth you get, the better.
Yeah.
You know, hot patinas, no. Hot patinas can be mirror surface.
Yeah.
But cold patinas, you've heard this so many times now. Okay.
Uh-huh.
So we'll spray this on.